The Holly Dog blog actually all started with my dog that I had growing up. Her name was Holly. So my mom, she worked as a teacher for over 15 years, and she would tell stories to her class about the Holly Dog. And they loved the stories, and they could really relate to her because she'd be really afraid of something or she'd be really excited about something, and all of those emotions are things that kids are just learning about. One day she was like, I want to write a book about the Holly Dog, and she asked me to do the illustrations. And so we self-published a couple of books about the Holly Dog, and she took them to class and the kids loved them. So that's kind of where Holly Dog all started.
Want to attract and convert more leads? Want to learn how digital PR, branding, and SEO can establish and build your brand identity? Welcome to the Market Movers Building Brands and Links with Linkify podcast. We answer these questions and help you ramp up your brand visibility and credibility. Let's cut through the noise and make your business the talk of the town. We're your hosts, Nick and Chris. Let's get this show on the road.
Welcome to the Market Movers podcast. Today we're joined by Amanda Leemis, founder of the Holly Dog blog, who's scaled a preschool resources brand with human-made design, smart SEO, email, and digital PR in a search landscape shaped by AI. Welcome to the show, Amanda.
Thank you for having me.
Amanda, thanks for coming on. To get us started, why don't you tell us about how you got the site started, why you started it, that process?
Sure. So the Holly Dog blog actually all started with my dog that I had growing up. Her name was Holly. And I had her from when I was in fourth grade up until I was in college, so for a really long time. And one day my brothers, they were out biking in the woods, and they found a dog that someone had tied to a tree with a jump rope, and they just left her there. So they brought her home, and this is the only way that me and my brothers got to keep a dog, because we had asked my dad so many times, like, can we have a dog? And he said no so many times. But because we found her and she had nowhere to go, my dad said yes, and so we got to keep her. And she was a really weird dog because she was a stray. She was like really terrified of strange things, and she had a really interesting personality. So my mom, she worked as a teacher for like over 15 years, and she would tell stories to her class about the Holly Dog. And they loved the stories about the Holly Dog, and they could really relate to her because, she'd be really afraid of something or she'd be really excited about something, and all of those emotions are things that, kids are just learning about. So, yeah, that's where the Holly Dog name came from. And so my mom loved to tell stories about the Holly Dog to her class. And so one day she was like, you know what? I want to write a book about the Holly Dog. And she asked me to do the illustrations. And so we self-published a couple of books about the Holly Dog, and she took them to class and the kids loved them. So that's kind of where Holly Dog all started. And then when the pandemic started, the kids couldn't come to class anymore. So they all had to do at-home learning. So my mom asked me if I would illustrate some worksheets, and she would put them in take-home packets for all the kids. So I illustrated some worksheets, like tracing sheets, things with colors and numbers. And I would add the Holly Dog character to it, and she would send it home, and there was like a really great response back from the worksheets. But, my mom was like, the kids love the worksheets, the parents love the worksheets. But, my mom says I'm good at everything. And so I'm like, is that really true?
Yeah.
Like,
My
do
mom
they
says the
really?
same.
Yes, right? So she's like, oh my gosh, everyone loves what you're doing. And I'm kind of like, maybe. I don't know if that's really true. But then one day it was World Book Day, and her class got to dress up as their favorite storybook characters. Everyone came dressed as something else. And this little girl came to school, and she dressed up as the Holly Dog, and she had on like a brown tutu, and she had on like little dog ears, and she had her face painted. And that was the moment where I thought, wow, like this little girl who I've never met was inspired by the Holly Dog character. I just thought that was so cool. And then I was like, maybe my mom is right. Maybe there's something to this. So that's when I decided to start a blog and put things online. And also at that time, before the pandemic, I was working as a professional model in New York, and I traveled quite a bit for that job, and all of that sort of came to an end. And so this was something new and exciting, and I was really looking to do something new anyways. So this was like a great opportunity. And yeah, that's how the Holly Dog blog started. And now we've really grown. We have this past month, we have 30,000 downloads of our printable worksheets. And at the end of the year, we're totaling 280,000 downloads. So that's something I'm just so excited about. And I can't wait for next year and just to see how things grow. But that's how it all started.
That's awesome. So, I mean, not a long period of time all to have gone from no website to getting a website off the ground, figuring out SEO strategy. Like, what did that look like in those first few weeks and months of trying to get it sorted?
Yeah, so when I first started, like you said, I didn't know anything about running a website.
Mm.
I knew zero. So just I took some online classes. I took one class that I thought was amazing called it was called Stupid Simple SEO. And I took it and it was awesome. I learned so much and it made me feel like I really could do this. But in those very early days, learning about SEO and how important your keywords are, your backlinks are, all these things. I think I sent out probably over 100 emails to different preschool websites asking them if they would link to my site and I would provide
Genius.
them with free worksheets.
Mm.
Um, and it was so hard. It was so time consuming. And, people don't get back to you and, because they're busy. And I did get like a handful of responses and I did get some great backlinks that way. And I actually ended up working for a blog called Preschool Play and Learn. For about a year, they actually paid me for my worksheets and they'd link back to me. So that was like a cool little side
Wow.
project that came out of that. So that was really great. And yeah, just learning about keyword research in those early days, I was really into using Ahrefs and Ubersuggest, and I would do like deep dives into all the data of the blogs that had similar domain authorities to me, and then I'd try and go after those keywords and rank for them. And now I think my strategy has changed just a little bit because in the very early stages of starting a blog, you have like 20 posts or 40 posts, and it's just so hard because you're competing against sites that have like 400 posts.
Mm.
My strategy has changed just a little bit because now I have 369 posts, which is a lot
Mm.
more than I had in the beginning. So now I feel like I can compete with those bigger blogs. But it really is about getting those backlinks. And once I started to make money with the business, I got some awesome backlinks from Linkify, some links that I like never could get by myself. So that's really awesome.
Good to hear.
And yeah. So it's just really and one of the things that I do all the time as part of my SEO strategy is I actually use ChatGPT quite a bit for this. It is so great at telling you where you're not doing a good job. So one of the things I learned is like ChatGPT is pretty nice to you generally.
Yeah.
It's always telling you like you're
It's
doing
like your
Like a
something.
mom,
mom.
right?
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It's like a second mother. It's just like telling you how great you are all the time. So,
Mm.
like, for a long time, ChatGPT was helpful, but it was like it was kind of encouraging. And I felt like it was lying to me a little bit. So, one of the cool things you can do to prompt ChatGPT is to tell it that you want it to be your ruthless mentor and you want it to tell you the truth at all costs. And once I did that, I got some fantastic critical feedback about SEO. And again, like the one thing it tells me pretty consistently all the time is you need more backlinks. Like it just tells me that constantly because I'll ask it to, I'll send it a page and I'll say, look at this page and then look at a page that's similar that my competitors make. And it will tell me exactly how to make the page better. It will tell me where to add graphics or if I need a section that, explains facts or different things to add. But at the end, it always says like, your content is so great, but you're going to lose because you're competing against sites that have been around for 10 to 15 years and their backlink profile is so strong. So that's something that I'm always trying to do on the SEO side is get backlinks. And yeah, and now that I'm competing with bigger blogs, one of my strategies is if they have something that's cool and relevant, I need to have that thing too, and it needs to be better, and it needs to be like there needs to be like a little bit of holly-dog in the product. So that's another strategy. If they have it, I need to have it too because I want to have a really big library. But yeah, that's sort of how my SEO strategy works.
Yeah, that's great. I think that's very true that ChatGPT defaults to mom mode. So you
Yeah.
have to tell it to like punch holes in your theory, like find the flaws. That's how I prompted as well.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to go back to the early days. You jump in, you take a course, you're doing all the research, you're putting in the work. That's where a lot of people I think hit a wall where it takes time. It's hard to see those results early. So tell us about that. How did that look initially? How long did it take to get the results? How were you able to stay like interested and engaged and keep working through that period where you just don't see a lot of traction?
Sure. And yeah, you're absolutely right. I think a lot of people they quit too early because it does take time. When I was taking one of my courses, this was really helpful for me to help me keep going. Um, the guy running the course said you should be monetizing your blog at 250 posts. And he said if you have 250 posts and you haven't monetized, like something is going wrong. So that was sort of like my benchmark because I think a lot of people think, well, I can do 100 posts and like I should be making money. But really, volume is just so important when you're running a blog. So I started monetizing at 220 posts. So I was really excited. And that being said, like it took a lot of time to get there because I was writing posts myself and I was drawing the worksheets myself. So I want to say it took me about like a year and a half to 2 years to monetize the blog. And yeah, during that time, I mean, it was really, really difficult because, when you start to see some progress, you think your site is so great and you want to monetize it. And I mean, I applied to Ezoic 3 times and I got rejected 3 times. And at the time, I was like, I don't understand. My site is so great. Why don't they want me? And of course, like looking back at it now, I'm like, my site was awful. It was like tiny and the content was like not great quality. And now I'm like, oh, I understand why that happened. But I think just going through that process is really important. It's okay to get rejected. Like get rejected a bunch of times and keep going. I finally got accepted to Money Metric and that was really big. That was a really big deal for me and exciting. And then about maybe just 6 months later, I got accepted to Raptive and that was my goal. I really wanted to get to work with them. So when that happened, I was so excited, but it did take time. I mean, it took me about a year and a half to 2 years to monetize it. And then once I did monetize it, kind of leveling up in the ad companies happened pretty quickly from there.
And I bet Nick's question was like, how did you stay motivated? I guess even that first dollar earned is the big driver to go, okay, this is
Yes.
possible. This is, yeah.
Yeah.
Has that monetization strategy changed since those early days to now? You talk about downloads. I'm not sure. Are you charging for downloads? Like, is it all ad revenue? Do you have like affiliate as well? How has that like evolution of your monetization strategy looked?
Yes. So right now, like the majority of my money comes from ad revenue. Every single printable worksheet is free. And I'm going to come out next year with some paid products. I'm really excited about a new children's book that's going to come out. I do have a coloring book. I need to work to promote that a little bit more. But right now, I've just been focusing on making sure my content is free. And I think this is one of the reasons, I am so passionate and excited about this business is having free materials for preschool teachers and parents is so important to me. I feel like teachers are expected to do so much now. I mean, so much more than like back in the day. They're expected to do discipline, social, emotional learning, in some cases, potty training. They take on so much. And I really want my website to be a place where teachers like in the back of their mind are thinking, I need to plan this, this, and this. Oh, but I can go to the Holly Dog blog. I can get that worksheet. So I can just kind of cross that off my list. It's just one way to help them, help them make their lesson plans. But when it comes to like my ad strategy, I do have I'm an affiliate with Amazon and Etsy, and I love being an affiliate with Etsy because I love promoting other small businesses. I think that's really fun. But the majority of my money does come from ad revenue. So again, like that traffic to the site is just so important because if I don't get it, that just means that I'm not going to make a ton of money that month. But hopefully next year I will come out with more paid products, and that would be another source of revenue. And one thing I notice with a lot of preschool websites, which I'm trying to shift away from, is a lot of times you go to a preschool website and there's like tons of colors, it's super bright. There's like moving graphics and there's ads like plastered everywhere and there's a million categories. And one thing I'm trying to do that's very different from that is I don't run ads on my homepage and I don't run ads on my silo pages. And I know a lot of people would say, well, you're leaving money on the table. You could be making a lot more money if you just ran some ads there. But to me, their experience is just so important. I want teachers to come. I want them to find exactly what they need. I don't want them to get confused with a million categories. I want to keep it really simple. And even, when you come to my site, it's a little bit different from other sites, but there's a button that says, start learning with Holly Dog. And teachers or parents can click that button and they immediately go to a page where I ask them, are you a teacher or are you a parent? And then from there, I send them straight to the resources that are going to help them a lot. So I know a lot of people, their sites are like very colorful and bright. Mine is just aiming to be more like organized, fun, and pastel colors, and just clean and simple. So that's something I'm trying to sort of go towards, this next year.
I think that's great for people coming back. I don't know how many times I've complained about this on podcasts, but I always compare the food blogs where you're like, oh, this recipe looks nice. And it takes you
Yes.
15 minutes to get to the recipe because you have to go through 30 ads and they take forever to load. So I think
Yes.
that's an important part, the experience there, because you want these teachers to keep coming back.
Yeah.
I think that's a good idea.
Well, are you not interested to read about the history of the onion before you get to the recipe of?
No, I'm really not. If I had the time to read about the history of the onion, man, what a world.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned Etsy, and so I'm curious about other platforms. That seems like it could be a good fit for you. So far, we've only talked about organic traffic. This also seems like a space that would do well on Pinterest and social. Have you focused on those other channels, or has Google really been the biggest focus?
Yeah, so I've really put a lot of time into Pinterest this past year. It's been a huge roller coaster, really a lot more complicated than I thought it would be. Pinterest is such a great platform for my niche because my niche is so highly visual. We actually show up way more in the Google Images side of things than we do like in the Google News side of things. So having images that are like really clear, good alt text is super important. But Pinterest has been so complicated. It has its own algorithm. It has its own it's its own world really. And I started working with Pinterest myself and running it myself, and I did like 10 pins a day every day for 3 months, and it was really exhausting, but I saw some really fantastic results from it. And I was like, wow, this is great. It's going to carry on upwards forever and ever. And, this is just going to be how it's going to be. And I was very rudely awakened to that is not how it works. You have to put in a lot of time and effort. And I actually hired a company this past year to help me work through it. And it was just such a roller coaster of ups and downs. And there's so many things that can go wrong with Pinterest. You can have stolen pins. You can be marked as spam. There's so much AI images on Pinterest now that seeing any pin is just that much harder. So I'm really excited about Pinterest because I think it's great for my niche, but I think it's really important to find the right person to work on it with you or for you. I've since now changed companies, and I'm working with a new company, and I think they're really, really knowledgeable about exactly how Pinterest works. So I'm excited about that. But that definitely is one of the places I want to bring traffic in from. I've also worked recently on Facebook ads. I don't know a ton about Facebook ads, but I've seen some really, really great results from that too. And just building a community. I feel like you can build a community in Facebook around preschool education and learning, and that could be really a valuable space for people. So that's something that I'm hoping to do more of next year. Yeah.
It sounds like to start though, it was all Google, right? That was the main focus?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that is such an important point to drive home because it's a space that could do very well on Pinterest, on Facebook, maybe on Instagram as well. And I think people try too many platforms. They try and do it all. Okay, I'm going as fast as I can with Google, but now I'm going to try these other things. And it really makes more sense to put all of your effort into one system, into one platform, master that, get some systems in place, and then move on to the next one. So I think that's something you did that probably served you very well.
Yeah, I agree. And you're right. In the beginning, it was all Google. That was it. That was all I was focusing on because that's the main massive place people go. So that is a really great one to focus on. And you're right. Once I had enough traffic from there, then I started to branch out into Pinterest. And once I get Pinterest really, moving well and getting that mastered, then I'll move on and spend more time in Facebook. But you're definitely right. Picking one and sticking with it and really figuring out how it works, I think is a great strategy. Yeah.
There's one platform that we haven't talked about, which I was looking through last night, and it is the cutest, so YouTube. You've got a great YouTube channel.
Thank you.
It seems relatively new-ish, as some of the more recent content looks like really, really good, really polished. I think
Thank you.
You're doing it in conjunction with your mom. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the songs that you've done, it could be like a British produced kids TV show. The quality is fantastic.
Yay. Oh,
so
that's
tell us about that.
awesome. Oh, thank you so much for saying that. That's awesome. Yeah, so the YouTube channel is new. We started it last year. So we actually have a Holly Dog puppet, and we worked with blank puppets to make this puppet. And I worked with this guy named Dallin, and he worked with my drawings to create the Holly Dog puppet. And she looks amazing. He did a fantastic job. So my mom and I want to do, and like you said, my more recent videos are like better quality. My beginning videos are like not so great, but
And
that's
that's
just something
fine.
you
That's
learn.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. um, so we make these videos with Holly Dog, and it's really, really fun. And yeah, my mom works with me. She's like a huge contributor to the business because she was a teacher for 15 years. So she knows everything about kids. She knows what's going to keep their attention and what's not going to keep their attention. And so we make these videos and we hire people to sing the songs and write the songs. And one thing that I think is really exciting about the Holly Dog is it really is like it's human focused. There's so much AI out there. I think one thing that's really going to set us apart is the human element. I hand draw all of the images in the worksheets. I use my iPad and my pen, and I just get creative with so everything you see on my site is drawn by me. And the songs that we put together for the YouTube channel, those are really sung and produced by real people who that's their passion. That's what they do. They're so talented. And, this puppet that we have was made by a real person. So everything we do is really centered around like the human element. And especially for preschool, preschoolers, they're learning things like how to share, how to take turns, how to play. They're learning how to forgive their friends when their friends make mistakes, and they're learning how to forgive themselves when they make mistakes. And these are things that, you learn from kids, from playing with kids, from adults. You don't learn this from AI. Maybe there's some way you can, but I think that it's so important to have that human connection. So our YouTube channel is just an extension of that. And we make these really fun videos. My mom is the Holly Dog, and sometimes I'm the Holly Dog, and that was a really interesting thing to discover because I've never ever been a puppeteer before. So that was quite a fun thing to do. But we really love making videos, and the songs are the most popular. People keep asking me when number 4 is coming out, when number 5 is coming out, because I think once we have numbers 1 through 10, it's going to be like a really great collection and people will be excited about it. So I have such a fun time doing that with my mom. And she's such a big help. And one thing I think that we see trending right now in the preschool niche is social emotional learning. So social emotional learning has become essential to kids' development, and it's been brought into the classroom a lot. I actually had people asking me to make some social emotional learning worksheets. So I made some worksheets for a calm down corner, some worksheets on how to breathe and count down from 5, and some calming coloring pages to do when you're in your calm down corner. So I made some things like that. And Holly Dog really ties into social emotional learning because she doesn't speak. She has no voice. And my mom and I thought for the longest time how we wanted Holly Dog to be as a character. We were like, should I do the voice? Should someone else do the voice? And in the end, we decided to keep her quiet because we really want to have almost like a Mr. Rogers-esque feel to our YouTube channel. There's so many things for kids right now that are like crazy sensory overload. It's like, it's just sounds and colors, and there's definitely a time and a place for that. I mean, there's some movies that are just wild and crazy, and that's great. I mean, that's really fun for kids. But I think when it comes to learning, taking things just a little bit slower and calming down is sometimes a good idea. And especially with the Holly Dog, since she doesn't have a voice, we really have to pay attention to her body language. So a lot of times my mom will ask the Holly Dog a question and Holly Dog will get it wrong, and she'll like hide her face and she'll cover her shoulders like this, and she's so upset. I just think that's one way we have to see, oh, someone is upset when they like hunch their shoulders and they don't show their face. That might be an indicator that something's wrong and we should help that person. Or when Holly Dog gets really excited, she'll like move her body and she'll just go crazy and be so happy. And, that's an indicator that someone's really happy and like maybe we should see what's going on. And those are really tiny things that we kind of incorporate into the videos to get kids thinking about their emotions. But we are so excited about the YouTube channel, and I'm learning a lot about how to film things and lighting and all that stuff. So it's been really fun.
I think it's a great space as well. Like my daughter's 5 now. When she was 3, we had a subscription to super simple songs for some time because
Okay.
like we traveled a lot, and so we had to
Yeah,
have it like available offline, and so
sure.
there's a lot to that. And right now her obsession is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Oh
That's
my
her
gosh, yes.
entire class is
Yes.
obsessed with. And for parents, it's like it's hard because there's K-pop Demon Hunters, which like
Yes.
every kid in her class is just absolutely obsessed with. But you're
Yeah.
also wanting like them to watch things that do help them to develop, to work through those feelings or whatever. And so it's a lot for parents to figure out like, is this
Yes.
something that's helping them? Is this just like garbage? So
Yes.
I think it's a good space, and I think it's always great like when you find a new source of like this is good content for kids to
Mm.
watch.
Yes, yeah, definitely. And we've also noticed another thing. My mom, she retired recently, but during like the last probably 3 years of her teaching career, um, kids would come into the classroom, and usually kids come in and they can do some basic things at this age. They can, hold like a fat marker. They can, hold a cup. But kids would come in and they had like they almost got too tired to do these really basic things, and that was because we've seen this trend of the iPad, and
Mm.
and I definitely think there is a time and a place for an iPad. There is, but I think a lot of parents they lean on it a little too
Yeah.
much, and yeah, and so kids they do this motion all the time with their finger. So when they come into preschool, they don't have like this motion of like holding a pencil, holding a crayon. So the last 3 years of my mom's class, they had to really, really focus on building those fine motor skills like immediately, because usually kids come in, like 50, they're 50% there. They've got some
Mhm.
strength. They can hold a marker and a crayon, and they can draw big, big, broad shapes. But something that's happening is kids really don't have those skills at the time when they should be developing them. So it's just something to think about. And hopefully at the Holly Dog blog, we can help you if at home you're relying on the iPad. You can always come over, print a worksheet, get out the markers and crayons. And, coloring is so much more than just coloring. I mean, people always think, oh, they're just coloring. They're just using their imagination, but they're not. They're like uncapping markers. They're putting them back together.
Mhm.
They're drawing lines down, across. They're making circles for the first time. And those skills, like, they're not easy. They're really hard. I think we just forget as adults that those are like really cool beginning stages for kids to be, learning and excited.
Yeah, there's a
So,
lot going on there. At
Yeah.
my house, we rarely get the caps back on the markers, but
Yeah.
yes, it's a lot. Still, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah, definitely.
I think one of the reasons as well that to go back to Nick's question again, which he said, how do you get through those early stages to be so passionate about something like you clearly are,
Mhm.
Yeah.
is lovely to see as well. Just as we approach the end of this, Amanda, I wanted to touch on something. We talked about AI briefly. You talked about how you're using it yourself to like critique your own business and make incremental improvements there. How are you seeing AI affect or add to your visibility as a business? And I think you've nailed one thing perfectly, which is you're building a brand under the Holly Dog blog. Is that something which you're seeing? You're getting like traffic from AI search bots? Are you going to focus on that next? Like, where does that fit in, do you think?
Yes, I definitely want to focus on that next. Like you said, we're seeing traffic come from all kinds of different places.
Mm.
And, like you said, I think that the brands are going, at the end of the day, the brands are going to stick around. I
Mm-hmm.
think that I see a lot of preschool sites, and they don't have like, like not maybe not a theme. It's just very broad. It's just
Mm-hmm.
preschool. And I think if you can narrow things down, really have a singular vision. For us, it's the Holly Dog mascot. I think the brands are going to stick around. But yeah, I mean, AI, it's such a wild, I mean, every day I feel like I wake up and there's something new going on in the AI world, that it really is like the Wild West right now. So I feel like every day I'm just trying to learn as much as I can. And yeah, using AI definitely to help even run my business. It's been really, really life changing. I mean, just to think about a year ago, I was writing every single email, and I was writing every single post. And now, AI can really help me do a lot of tasks that I'm not passionate about. I think that's just fantastic. So
Yeah.
moving forward, I'm just interested to see, what the future holds for AI and how we can use it. But yeah.
That is so true. When you just think back to a few short years ago, I mean, I can't imagine living without AI now. It
Yeah,
hasn't
it's
even been that
Yeah.
wild.
long, has it?
Yeah.
I don't even type anymore. I use
Yeah.
the whisper flow,
Yeah.
dictate, like Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Okay, and I mean, absolutely brilliant. If anyone hasn't been to check out the website, if you've got young kids, so if you want to go see the YouTube, we'll have all the links and stuff in the show notes. What is next for Holly Dog Blog? And if people do want to reach out directly, where can they find you?
Yes. So the thing that's next for Holly Dog that I'm really excited about is our new book. We're going to have a new book coming out really soon, and it's written specifically for ages 3 and 4 and 5. So our first 2 books, they're written for age 2. This one is going to be really tailored for preschool, and I'm so excited about it. And I'm also really excited to keep going with our number of music videos on the YouTube channel. That's something that's really fun to do, and we've had a great response from kids from it. If people want to reach out to me, my email is amanda@thehollydogblog.com. And people can come to thehollydogblog.com for tons of free worksheets, free crafts and activities. And yeah, we'd love to see you over there.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Amanda.
Thank you.
Thanks.